Hi, I'm Elle, Intuitive Wellness Coach for women, specializing in hormone health. If you've been curious about intermittent fasting, you might have heard a lot about its potential benefits, like improved metabolism, mental clarity, and weight management. But did you know that intermittent fasting can affect women's hormones differently depending on where you are in your menstrual cycle? In today's video, we're going to dive into how fasting influences your hormones and your adrenal health. And most importantly, when is the best time to practice intermittent fasting based on your cycle? So let's get started. Intermittent fasting can trigger several hormonal changes, particularly when it comes to insulin and cortisol. When you fast, insulin levels drop, which can help with fat burning and improved metabolism. This is generally a good thing, especially if you're trying to regulate blood sugar and lose weight. Cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone, is also affected during fasting. In the short term, cortisol can help your body handle the stress of fasting. But in the long term, elevated cortisol levels can have negative effects on other hormones like estrogen and progesterone. Prolonged stress can lead to adrenal fatigue, which can create hormonal imbalance, especially in women. When it comes to fasting, your adrenals play a key role in how your body handles stress. When you're fasting, especially if you're doing it frequently or for long periods, your body's stress response can kick into overdrive, leading to increased cortisol production. This can put extra pressure on your adrenal glands, which are responsible for producing cortisol, and over time, this can lead to adrenal fatigue. Adrenal fatigue affects your overall hormone balance, making it harder for your body to manage the fluctuations of estrogen and progesterone and other essential hormones. So, the key here is moderation. Fasting too much or for too long, especially if you're already dealing with high levels of stress or adrenal issues, can lead to more harm than good. So let's talk about caffeine. For many women, a cup of coffee or a matcha latte is the best way to start the day. But caffeine can have a significant impact on your cortisol levels, especially if consumed in large amounts or at the wrong time. When you drink caffeine, it triggers a spike in cortisol, and this can give you a temporary boost of energy. But if you're fasting or under stress, consuming caffeine can amplify cortisol levels too much, leading to adrenal strain and imbalances in other hormones. When we first wake up in the morning and daylight enters our eyes, it triggers the hypothalamus in our brain to cue the cortisol awakening response. This releases a healthy dose of cortisol to get us moving in the morning. Since we have this natural elevation of cortisol in the mornings, we could try delaying caffeine until mid-morning and also eating it together with a meal to help to buffer the cortisol spike. So while caffeine can be helpful, it's important to be mindful of when and how much you're drinking, especially when fasting. Too many cortisol spikes and adrenal fatigue can also lead to premature aging. So it's best to be mindful of things that spike your cortisol, like caffeine and stress and periods of extended fasting. If you feel that your stress levels are already high, or that you feel anxious or in fight or flight more than you'd like to be, then it might be a sign to find more balance and look for ways to reduce stress and cortisol spikes in your day-to-day life before you venture into trying any kind of fasting. Often we can feel very frustrated when we want to lose weight, and we can become almost angry at our bodies. And we want to treat them harshly and punish them with high intensity workouts or strict diets. And then we beat ourselves up when we mess up or we eat carbs. But when we start to understand that for half of our monthly cycle, we need extra calories to fuel hormone production and the biological changes that are happening within. And then for the other half of the month, we can lean into lighter eating and reducing sugars to fuel estrogen. And then we can have more of a compassionate approach to our natural energy rhythms and our hormones and our bodies. So let's take a look at when are the best times to practice intermittent fasting based on where you are in your menstrual cycle. The menstrual phase is a time when energy levels are naturally lower and your body is shedding the uterine lining. So, this is a good time to focus on rest rather than pushing yourself to fast for long periods. Gentle fasting or shorter fasting periods can be okay, but overall, this is a phase where you're nourishing your body, and that's more of an important aspect than fasting. So pay attention to your energy and listen to your body during your menstrual phase. Following this, the follicular phase is the first part of your cycle right after your period ends, and it lasts until ovulation, about halfway through your cycle. So during this phase, estrogen is rising and your energy levels are typically starting to pick up. This is the ideal time for fasting as your metabolism is more responsive and your body can better handle the mild stress of fasting without negative effects. So next comes ovulation. During ovulation, which occurs around the middle of your cycle, estrogen peaks. So you might feel more energetic, confident, and social. While some shorter fasting can still be okay during this phase, it's better to avoid extended fasting. You want to ensure that you're fueling your body properly during this peak time of fertility and productivity. So focus on nourishing your body with good, nutrient-dense foods, including cruciferous vegetables, to help detox excess estrogen following ovulation. The luteal phase comes after ovulation and leads up to menstruation. This is when progesterone levels rise and your body needs more energy to support the thickening of the uterine lining. You might notice increased hunger or cravings, and your energy can fluctuate. This is generally not the best time to fast, and extended fasting during the luteal phase can lead to increased stress, higher cortisol levels, and hormone imbalances if you're not careful. Your body is naturally craving more nourishment, and fasting during this phase can interfere with hormonal regulation. Fasting during the luteal phase might disrupt the body's processes as it prepares for menstruation. If you're feeling sluggish or irritable, it's a sign that your body needs more fuel and more rest. Intermittent fasting can be a great tool to support your health, especially when you understand how it affects your hormones and adrenal health. By fasting mindfully and in alignment with your body's natural rhythms, you can support your hormonal balance rather than disrupt it. Always listen to your body, and if you're experiencing any symptoms like fatigue or irritability or hair loss or trouble sleeping, it's important to adjust your fasting or consider a different approach. Talk to your health practitioner for support with creating a fasting schedule and any concerns you may have about hormone or adrenal health. For more tips on syncing your lifestyle with your cycle, head over to cyclemagic.com to download my free guide on the 4 phases of the cycle and how you can live in alignment with them. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a like and subscribe for more hormone health and wellness tips.